everyone. Today, I want to talk about a book that really stayed in my mind after I finished it, The Metamorphosis by Frank Kafka. Uh, at first, it looked like a very strange story. A man wakes up one morning and finds out that he has turned into in some kind of a wormlet or an insect. But after reading it, I realized this book is not really about an insect at all. It is about life responsibility, isolation, and how people treat you when you are no longer useful. So it's something that is very depressing once you go deep into the philosophy of the book and how the writer has written and his perspective. All right, let me give you the brief summary of the book first. So the story is about Gregor Samsa. He's a traveling salesman who works very hard to support his family. One day he wakes up and discovers that he has turned into a giant insect, a giant one, big like a big insect on the bed. The transformation that is called metamorphosis. For that moment, everything changes. Everything changes about him. Gregor can no longer work. He can't communicate. Probably can't communicate properly, and slowly his family, who once dependent on him, started to see him as a burden instead of a human being. So that was very depressing. The way they see Gregor. First, they saw him as a son, but after that, he became a burden on the family, which was very, very depressing. They don't try to understand him. They don't ask how he feels after his transformation, and they just want him hidden. They just want him hidden away. They just don't want him. They just don't want him to see at all. They just want him to just go away from their life after his transformation. That is so saddening to see, to read, to even imagine about that. First, he was a responsible son, but after that, after his transformation, he was of no use. They don't even care he existed at that time. What I learned, the lesson was, the first one is your value is often tied to your usefulness. One of the biggest lessons I learned is how society often value people only for what they provide. They're only useful for the things that they provide, and after that, if they don't, they're not useful at all. People just want them to go out of their life. They just want to go. They just don't care about your existence after they don't provide whatever they need. When Gregor was earning money, he was very important, very, very important. When he couldn't work anymore, he became useless in their eyes, like very useless. They just don't want him. They just want him to die. Or he was such a burden that he was just so useless in their lives. He was of no use. So this made me think about real life. How many people are respected only as long as they are providing for their family. As long as they are productive, as they are successful or helpful. Once they struggle, they are ignored or forgotten. So that was really, really depressing. This is the most depressing book I've ever read. So this part was the most depressing. The guy, the boy, the sunshine of that family. When he became this insect, this animal, he was of no use. So lesson 2 was isolation. Isolation can be worse than pain. I'm telling you that from an experience. Yes. So Gregor doesn't just suffer physically, he suffered emotionally as well. It wasn't just the physical pain, but on the top of physical pain, he was hurting emotionally. He's locked in a room, and he hears his family talking about him, not to him, but talking about him. He slowly loses his sense of being human, and he was just trying to discover his body at first, but then he's more you can say he's more thinking about the responsibility after a while, and he's forgotten about his body. So this shows how loneliness and emotional neglect can destroy a person from inside, even more than just a physical pain. Lesson 3. family love can be conditional. Family love can be conditional. And that was the saddest part. At the start, Gregor family shows some concern, but over time, that concern turned into annoyance. They were annoyed, then disgust, and finally rejected. Finally, the rejection. Kafka shows us a harsh truth. Sometimes love is not unconditional. Sometimes people love you only when life is easy. And that was the saddest part. The part of the book felt very, this part of the book felt very, uncomfortable, but also very real. It was very real, this part. Lesson 4, losing identity. The final thing was losing his identity. Gregor still thinks like a human, obviously, because he was a human, but everyone treats him like a monster. And that was the point where he lost his identity. When everybody was treating him like some sort of an animal, some sort of a monster. Slowly he started accepting how others sees him. And that was the point where he loses his mind. It was hopeless. It was what he could have done at that point. This made me realize how dangerous it is when when society defines your identity for you. If people keep treating you like nothing, you might start losing that identity that you have. You start believing you are nothing, because that's how society is treating you. And the pressure and all the people that are just trying to shape your identity, and you are losing it because they are shaping it. You're influencing other to come into your life and change your identity. So that was the part where Gregor loses his identity after being neglected for a while, and then he was just treated like shit. Now we are going to the conclusion. So for me, the metamorphosis is not about transformation into an insect, but it is more about, you can say, it is more about, let me just think, what was it about? Feeling invisible, that you're not there, being used, and losing purpose, and being abandoned when you are no longer useful to your family, to people you love, and the people you used to provide. What else? Yeah, I think it forces you to ask uncomfortable question about family, society, and yourself. It just you, after reading this book, you just think that people around you are just people wanting things. Like there's this word called quid pro quo. Or I'm not pronouncing the word right, but that was the word. That's why this book feels so heavy, because it reflects real human behavior, real human emotion, how they treat you if you are no longer of use to them, or their whatever their problems are. If you cannot solve it, then you are a burden to them, even on your family. So this hurts you from inside. That this is the society. This is the society that we are living in, and people are judging people. They're just judging each other for the same sins that they are committing. So if you read the Metamorphosis, let me know what you feel about it. You can just comment down below, and I will read each and every one of your comments. And did you feel sympathy for Gregor or frustration? It's up to you. It's subjective. This book is open to one or more interpretation. Many interpretation. It's up to you. Just comment down and just let me know. And if you haven't read it yet, I recommend it. Not because it's easy or it's thin. It's because it makes you think. So thanks for watching.